So what do you want me to just speak, or do you want to ask me questions?
Yeah, I'd like to ask a few questions. So you said you live here, right?
Yeah.
Does your life affected by the prison in any aspect?
How very good question. I'll draw you a little map, but
Yeah.
the same I'm sure in China. So in urbanism, everything in urbanism has a smell.
Yeah.
So if you live near a railway station, or you live near a market, or you live near bourgeois housing, or you live near the military, or there's always a tone around it.
Yeah.
So in that sense, the answer would be yes, but it's sort of unspoken. So
I see.
it's beneath the surface.
Yeah.
And from our house, when we had children, the children that came to China, when we were looking after the children in the night, we would look out of the window and we could see the prison, and my wife said, "I don't like this." And of course it's do you know how old the prison is?
Yeah, it's built in 1842, right?
Very good. I'm really impressed. So, you can imagine the society. You can imagine the society that built the prison.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, in a way, that's the beginning of the British Empire.
Yeah.
So, a lot of this area is really because of the railways. So the railways begin at the same time. So all the railways of London arrive and they make a ring. So the yellow line on the tube, the circle line, joins all the big stations.
Yeah.
And so the energy of the railway as an invention completely changed London, because everybody could move around differently. That made the suburbs, so our urbanistic explosion was in the 1860s, and yours was maybe in the 1990s.
Yeah.
But history is always the joke is that history always does that. Some money appears and everyone goes, let's build lots of houses. But so the prison, when it was built, would have been, in people's mentality, would have been at the edge of London. Because London hadn't become this big London became the big volume because of the railways. So these are prison officers' flats, apartments. So that contains a curious metaphor that maybe if you're a prison officer, you're also a prisoner. I mean, a lot of what we're talking about is very political, with a little p. So if you're in the army, you get fed, but you're in the army. If you're a prison officer, you probably also get fed, but you're part of the package. Do you know who Jeremy Bentham is?
No.
We'll write that down. So Jeremy Bentham is the person who invented the idea that the prison could be like a star, and you sit in the middle.
These houses, they are out of, you can see that these posters, they said why they are empty.
That's politics.
Yeah.
That's because, we're in a crazy month for British politics. So nobody any longer understands who is responsible for things. So this is in a period where the state took big responsibility for some people, but then there were people. So Dickens is really about the fact that at the bottom there were a lot of poor people, and nobody looked after them at all. But now we have a different politics, so people are going, why are these empty? So this is This is a very, you'll see a lot of this kind of graphics where
Yeah.
activists or students or, you know, they're asking good questions, and it worked because you're graphic students. I even think I know his mother. I'm not sure whether I know his mother, but I think I know his mother. But we're in an area where, in the French have a word terrain vague. I'll write some of these words down. So where the city has an edge. But this happened about 8 years ago, and it was a big. Nobody really knows. You know, the police obviously were probably not very clever. No, nobody really knows. But he died. He was young, and this used to be even more of a. I'm sure online you've seen. You know, it's covered in flowers. Exactly.
Did he die around here, or why?
He died there because he came up here, and I think he.
Like police chasing him
And he had a
knew-
crash. I think.
had a crash.
So he was being chased, and he was on a
I see.
motorbike, on a little bike. So you have these moments which are real thresholds. So the railway plus the prison gives this area an atmosphere. And when we go, just even in a minute, the atmosphere will change. That's my favourite graphic in London.
Wow.
I think that's the most, you know, that's nature.